Facebook. Good morning, Rythmia Facebook. It's Gerry coming to you from Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. On a beautiful, gorgeous, dry day. It's really, really clear skies and pretty. We've had an amazing week, So 2 weeks ago we were full. Last week we were close to full. Next week is the week after this week is Taita Juanito Chindon, packed full. And the phones are ringing off the hook. Things are going good. The business is on this road. So I want to tell you this. If you're thinking about coming here, two things I can promise you. As travel resumes back to normal, like we're full and Costa Rica is receiving 20% of the flights it used to receive this time in 2019. It is going to be jam-packed. It is going to be jam-packed. And because Costa Rica as a country is in dire need of money, the taxes have increased. The way to do business in Costa Rica has gotten harder. So prices have to go up. So what I can tell you is this. It's never going to be cheaper and it's never going to be easier to get in than it is over the next few months. Because once this is over, and when I say once this is over, for all intents and purposes, the coronavirus thing is, the curve was in November of last year, the curve started. Not only is it over, but things are going to resume back to normal, travel. As that happens, there's a huge pent-up demand. So that goes like this. So it's kind of like this recovery. So it's never going to be less expensive and it's never going to be easier to get in. I invite you to come in now. Last week I talked about a lot of things and I got a lot of comments on them. Okay. So what were some of those comments? So what I spoke about last week is not giving up, is about how hard business can be, how hard life can be, how hard raising a family can be. And there were some people, I got some comments that this flies in the face of vibrational things, and it does not. It does not. I want to go into why, right? Why that is. Things get harder if you take a look at an organism. If you take first off, good morning everybody, Sarah. Good morning, Liz. Good morning, Donna. Been in some spoons, Donna. Good morning, everybody. Misha, how are you, brother? Jen, how's everybody? Sarah, how's everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. So now let's talk about a couple of different things today. I want to talk about when does it get easier, and when should you quit? These are two things that there's people out there today that need to hear this. And this is the medicine. And the title of this thing is the Roaring 20s, and the Roaring 20s are amongst us. This is happening. This is going to happen in big industry, in small industry, in the travel industry. The airline industry just announced they're getting booked for summer. It's coming. It's coming. So let's talk about it. It gets harder consistently until it gets easier. Now, I want you to hear that. So if you're a small business person, or you just hung out a shingle and you're an attorney or an energy healer or whatever, it gets harder until it gets easier. So just think of it like this. And everybody takes the break when they shouldn't. So what do I mean by that? If I'm pushing a rock up a hill, at the most tired I'm going to be isn't at the base of the hill. It's at the crest of the hill. The most tired. So it gets harder until it gets easier. And then if I can get one more push and push it over the hill, then all of a sudden it's gone and it's rolling downhill. And that looks like momentum and and it gets easier. But it doesn't happen on its own. And I have to tell you, 90% of the people give up when it's right here. When it's right there, they quit. They quit. And then they go back to the bottom of the hill and they start all over again. And they say things like, oh my God, nobody could have done that. But we find in physical endurance testing, we find in Navy SEALs and rangers and all kinds of stuff, we find that when the body says to quit, it's actually at the 30 percentile. So when your body says, I can't do it anymore, you can actually do it 2 times more. So in other words, if you got 30% there and you want to quit, you can actually go to 100%. You can go twice that amount before your body gives in. So what stops us, what makes us not push any further is a couple of different things. Number one, we didn't really want the thing we picked to push, which means we didn't pick it from a merged place. We didn't pick it from a merged place, or we bought into the story that it's supposed to be easy. Something happened, you know, for children and for us where something was said in the world that things should be easy, that success should be easy, and that raising a family should be easy, staying in a marriage should be easy, having a spiritual awakening should be a breeze. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. And if you subscribe to it, what you keep thinking is, let's relate it to business. Oh, I made a bad decision. I started the wrong business. Now I got to start another one. Oh, I made a bad decision. I started the wrong business. Now I got to start another one. Oh, I made a bad decision. I started the wrong. Next thing you know, you're a serial entrepreneur without a success. You've started 15 businesses and none of them have worked because you didn't love the thing, love the process, stay with it. How many no's Sylvester Stallone got over the movie Rocky? That's one of the best stories I ever heard. And I have to tell you what, if you're not in love with the process, you're going to quit. If you didn't pick the thing from the right place, you're going to quit. You're going to quit on your family. You're going to quit on your community. You're going to quit on your business. You're going to quit on your dreams. And you cannot quit on them because it gets harder until it gets easier. And once it gets easier, it gets way easier. So if you're talking about people in business and you speak to, you know, we're really lucky here because I get to speak to lots of beautiful business people, right? That wind up here, like guys with 120,000 employees and like women that have changed the face of cosmetics. And I get to speak to these folks, right? And I want to tell you something. By and large, none of it was easier until it was easier. If you watch a relationship change with the father and son, it doesn't get easier until it gets easier. And once it gets easier, it gets progressively and rapidly and hugely more easy. Because a lot of things are in play. So you have like physics and you have energetic stuff. And once you push that over the hill, once it's pushed over the hill and it starts to have a momentum of its own, it looks easy. And by the way, if nobody ever saw the pushing, if they just saw the other side of the hill, they'd say, oh my God, it was a breeze. Look how easy that guy made it look. Look at Michael Jordan scoring those threes. He was born to do it. It doesn't talk about the, you know, when I saw a Kobe interview the other day and Kobe was taking 1,000 practice shots a day. 1,000. Wow. You know, when you watch him in the game, it looked like, oh my God, he was born. It's just natural. Everything's perfect. 1,000 shots a day. So, you know, that leads us to this thing about I better love what I'm doing. I better have picked it from the right place. And instead of loving the outcome, instead of having, most people do this. They're praying, oh, please, let me get it over the hill. Let me get it over the hill. Let me get it over the hill. Instead of saying that, say, look, I have the opportunity to give this one more push today. The day is coming when I'm not going to have that opportunity, when I'm not going to be in the body. I'm not going to be able to give it that push. I might have an opportunity to give up on my son today or my daughter. But instead of that, I'm going to give it one more push. The day's coming where I might not have that opportunity. I'm doing it from here. My goal is to make Gerry Powell a beneficial presence on this planet. Am I doing that? I have the opportunity to push it again today. I have that opportunity. I'm in the body. I have a chance. I have 2 feet and a heartbeat. I am here. I am now. I am here. I am alive. This is my chance. Not the orgasm of making it go down the other side of the hill. Because I want to tell you something. Once it goes down the other side of the hill and it gets easier, and it does get progressively easier, because momentum breeds confidence, confidence breeds other people, and all of a sudden it starts going like this. And that is the truth. You know, there are businesses that I owned. I started a business with a partner of mine who might not be on here, might be on here. I started a business with him, and we were in a previous business, a public company. I left the public company because I was in conflict with the board. The board allowed me, instead of taking my severance of $600,000, I was allowed to compete with them because they were so sure that I was wrong about my idea. So I went out and I spent the last money I had on creating this company. It took us, let's say, 4 months to make all of these changes, and we were opening the doors. And I think we started with 31 offices on September 11th of 2001. The day of the World Trade Center, on my honor. And I sat at the end of that day, felt terrible for everything that was happening. And all of a sudden I tried to open a business on one of the worst days in American history. You couldn't pick it any worse than this. And this is cosmetic surgery was the last thing on people's mind right after September 11th, right? The last thing. And yet I didn't quit. For whatever reason, I didn't quit. And I remember around February of the following year, people started to come around again, and it started to work. And I have to tell you what my original goal with that business was, what my goal was with that business, it was doing 10 times more than that about 2 years later. 10 times more. And my goal was fairly lofty, and it was 10 times more. So it's going to take longer, it's going to be harder, and it's going to yield more. Fact. Now, another question. When is the right time to quit? If all this is true, then when do I give up? When do I give up? And I want to tell you another one of my favorite all-time movies is a movie called The Mexican with Brad Pitt. And the Tony Soprano, I forget his name, James Gandolfini, yeah. And I watch this movie all the time, and the heart and soul of the movie is these couples talking about love, and it's never. The answer is it's never the right time to quit. You know why? Because your quit is always, if you take a look, if they could graph people who quit, success is here and their quit is right here. They quit right before they get it, So it's never the time to quit. And when I told you the story about the public company that I was running, and then you say, well, how did you manage to move out and to do your own business thing? I got fired. I got fired. The board of directors, I was in conflict with the board of directors over wanting to do it my way, and they wanted to do it their way. And they were so sure that I was wrong, and I wouldn't stop, but I wouldn't go again. Can't go against the board of directors. They fired me. And instead of taking my $600,000 severance, they were so sure that I was wrong, they allowed me to compete against them. Had I quit, I never would have had the opportunity to compete against them. I never would have built that company and sold it. I never would have had any of that. So it's never the right time to quit, ever. Ever. That's the answer. So if that's the truth, then how do you go forward? How do you go forward when people are lying about you, or making up wild shit, or you can't, the bank says no to you, or you can't hire the right people, or whatever the thing is in your business, in your life? I'm going to tell you what, if the universe shuts you down and says no more, in other words, like I got fired, and I even went to the board, I said, hey, look, are you sure you want to fire me? They were pretty sure. They were pretty sure. But so how do you keep going? Well, as long as there is an avenue for escape, you go. So in other words, if the bank says no, and there's someone walking the face of the earth who can take the place of that bank, you keep going. If you're a kid, you never give up on your kid. You never give up on your family. You never give up. You never give up on your community. You never give up on your mission for spiritual freedom. You never give up on your mission to become a beneficial presence on the planet. These are things that, because one day you won't have a body to make that attempt. And I want to tell you something. The one thing about plant medicine that makes it crystal clear is that after this body drops and you leave your body, you are very aware of all things. You are very aware. Oh, fuck, this is like happens every Thursday night, yeah? When you leave the body, when you drink the medicine, you leave the body and you see yourself leaving the body, you're very aware of everything that's going on. And you talk about remorse, of all the things you could have done with that body. Well, the most important thing you can do with that body is to become a beneficial presence on the planet in this incarnation. In this time. How do you do that? You do it in your own unique and beautiful way, whatever that way is. But you do it and you don't quit. Now, if you go like this, if you've done this, if you've picked the thing that you're in from a fractured, splintered, or fragmented place, then it's time to reassess. Then what I want you to do is go to a place like ours, do this medicine, have this happen to you, and then reassess, because there are so many people who come here and say, you know, I'm afraid to drink this medicine because I know that when I picked my husband, I did it from a place where I wasn't whole. That's not a guarantee that becoming whole is going to make you unpick your husband. That is not a guarantee that becoming whole is going to make you unpick being an author. That is not a guarantee that becoming whole is going to make you unpick anything that you already picked in your life. It's not. As a matter of fact, 90% of the time, it doesn't work that way. But drink the medicine, get whole. You know why to get whole? Because if you're not both feet in, you won't push the rock the last time. You won't. You'll take a break. You'll quit. You'll stop. You'll reassess. And I want to talk about reassessing. I want to talk about reassessing because it's absolutely, positively, 100% a part of this. What about reassessing? It's super important to reassess. Here's what I mean by that. Before you start your business, right? Before you start your new career, you have a plan. And the plan has these points. As you're going towards your goal, you might find out that this point was wrong and that point was wrong. So what we're continually doing is micro-adjusting. We are adjusting. We're looking and we're adjusting. We're looking and adjusting. Looking and adjusting, not abandoning, not quitting. And I would never say to someone, put your head down and run full force into a wall. That's not it at all. The cybernetic takeaway, the act of looking at your plan and looking where you're going. Looking at your plan and looking where you're going. And you're going to say, Gerry, that looks hard. Well, it is. It's terribly hard. It's terribly hard. And I want to tell you, this is another thing about ultra wealth in the United States. Because when this turns, when the thing turns and it starts producing fruit, it's hard to stop it. And that's what does create a lot of times a huge wealth disparity. Because the machine that you built, the Amazon, the cosmetic company, the cosmetic surgery company, the automobile manufacturer, whatever this machine that you built with love, care, and from the right place, when it rolls, sometimes it over-rolls. It does much greater than you think. That's why it's hard to suppress wealth, because it happens in a particular way. It really is. So what is my hope for you? This sounds like a very materialistic talk. It is, but you see, materialism is part of spirituality as well. The energetic nature of money is very, very, very spiritual. This whole thing of we were put on a planet of vast abundance. There should be abundance for everybody. If you're not experiencing abundance, that in itself is spiritual. That is. There's something that's not tracking. There's something that's not working. I want you to feel that, because to be the most fulfilling part of our thing. So in other words, for me to be a beneficial presence on the planet, I have to feel that my needs are being met. Does that mean I need a ton of everything? No. Dude, I sold 27 cars, 2 planes, mansions, all kinds of stuff. I'm down to nothing. I live in a small little house. Yeah, that's what I need though. But I want to feel that all my needs are met, because if I'm operating from fear, lack, and limitation and not enoughness, I can't possibly be a beneficial presence. I can't. I have to be operating from more, not less. And the same goes through you. It is such a struggle. It is such a struggle to be a beneficial presence when your basic needs are not being met. And that's what we're talking about. We want these needs to be met. They're yours. You should not walk through life worried about rent payment, car payment. I have 2 months worth of money. Oh my God, if I lose my job, my kids aren't going to eat. That is not how life should look. It is not. It is not the basic nature of life. It is not how things work. Before we got into any of this stuff, the jungle provided everything. Enough of everything. Enough food, enough this, enough that. The natural state of life is to have enough. If you don't have enough, and I'm not talking about having 40 cars or that, but if you don't have your basic needs met, there's something wrong in the engineering. Something is being engineered wrong. And usually that means it was picked from the wrong place. It was picked from the wrong place. Because you can't love the thing enough to love it enough to push it and push it and push it if it was picked from the wrong place. So that's my message to you this week. God bless you. God keep you. God hold you. I can't wait to see you here at Rythmia. And remember this, Rythmia is never going to be more available or less expensive than it is over these next few months. It's never going to be. This is the nature of business, that prices are going to go up and inventory is going to become scarce. It is what's going on in the world. So please come here. Please come here. You know that most people come here. I have people come here and said, Gerry, knowing what I got from this, I would have paid $100,000 on my honor. So come on, please make an investment in you. And we will see you at Rythmia. Cheers. Have a beautiful week. Talk to you next week.